Is that kind of the matchup you suspected from them coming in? Just kind of, I mean, obviously the 3-point shooting, but just kind of having to grind out a game?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's funny, my son, when he looked at the schedule, he's like, who scheduled this game? Kind of, I think I told you guys that last. But I really respect the job that they do, and they do what they do really, really well, right? The Creighton does a lot of that stuff, and Drakes do that kind of thing. So in our region, you're aware of it, but when you get that hopping and you got shooters, it's really difficult to guard. I did not plan on being down, the people that were down. I was really hopeful Chit Chat was gonna be back, because I knew how difficult this game was to guard. So I think beating this team is it's a good win. And to do it without Chit Chat, arguably our most efficient player right now, or has been on both sides of the ball, and she's turned into our team leader out there and that captain. That was really a really, really great win, because that team is a really good team. They're efficient, they play hard, they're just capable to hammer you with those threes.
How close is Chit Chat, and for that matter, the other two?
It's more day to day, because you have all the protocols that you have to do, but, we're really not that far out, right? It was 8-9 days since we, had the mishap. So it feels like forever, when you have someone, it feels like forever to her, but we just want to be so cautious, obviously. So she's day to day. I mean, every day we kind of test or try something, so I don't have any other news than what I did today and this morning, and that's what they said.
The other two still
Yeah,
same?
we're waiting on some results for Emily, and then just seeing, I think, Tegan's looking pretty good. I think she's feeling a little bit more energetic, so hopefully we'll get a little practice tomorrow. I don't know if either one, Emily or Tegan, I don't think they're ready for full combat, but I think maybe we can work in a little bit with some shooting. At least Tegan. I'm not sure about Emily.
The 3-pointers for them kind of came in waves, where it was 6 in a row and then cold, and then the fourth quarter. Just what did you like mentally about the defense there, where it was everybody still staying locked in, even though some tough shots fell?
Yeah, I think I was really pleased with our defensive intensity. I mean, I think we still, even though we gave up a lot of those threes, our defensive intensity, it really held when it needed to. When we shifted it, when we gave them that momentum, we missed some bunnies that we're not going to be able to miss moving forward, right? I thought we missed a lot of layups. We missed some point-blank shots. If you can nail those early on your home court, I think it sets a different tone, right? We missed a few of those in that first quarter, then they really got hot. But I think if my memory serves me, we went up 4 or 5-0, and then I think we missed 2 to 3 layups in a row. And so then when that happens, and you're worried about our interior, but then it's like, oh, and then you hit some, well, then you got a different mentality. It's just like, if you can really jump on a team, a good team, especially. And so I think that defense really carried us until we kind of got a little bit more settled. I thought we switched, we made some adjustments. I thought all of them understood I wanted to switch at these times. I didn't want to switch at those times. And the fourth quarter, I mean, that's 6-on-6 basketball right there. What was it? Both teams were lighting it up, but they were jacking, and they're good at it, right? So when you're kind of in desperation and you're trying to get those hits, and I kept Ava in there for the offensive counter, but she kind of sagged off, when she had to guard the guard, because when 13 and 32 and were in there, you could do a little bit more different stuff with the help. So, we she gave up some, but she also, got some.
It was, would you say it was an almost quiet 18 and 16 from Ava?
Very much. I mean, because I think, and I don't think she played as great as she can. That's the thing, my expectations, right? Like, I think she was, 6 for 11, right? Or what if that one is, let's see. Yes. Where I think she should have at least been, in my mind, 8 for 11. Right, but that's just the expectation when you're that, But it wasn't. They just spun in and out. But I think when we get her to that point, when those spinning, usually drop. But it was quiet, right? I think we missed her a little bit. I think they were, their game plan. Everybody is really jacking us a lot. You get a few calls, but you don't get some of them. So, when they're allowed at times, really, it's wedging, what they call it, really wedging. And even if they call 1 out of 3, it really messes up that spacing. And so that's the thing I don't like is sometimes what your game plans are. But, there's always counters. We get pushed out so far, we can go to our high post, and if they front, we got a different action. So I'm pleased with where Ava is static. I think is on her way to becoming one of the great ones. But I'm always going to motivate her to get a couple more makes when I think we should have had them.
It kind of seemed like once Taylor got that technical, the team and the place kind of woke up a little bit.
Right.
Was that the case, and have you ever seen something like that?
Yeah, you've seen it, and I know it's a point of emphasis, right? But it's, I'd have to look at it again. Taylor is our emotional, and I love what she does. She's going to take risks. I mean, I usually one time a game, I'm like, no. She throws a full court pass, but she has the guts to take it, and she can handle the ramification if it wasn't the right decision. So she loves, I think we love watching Strim play because she is that fire and she's going to get that rebound. I assume that when the big block happened, the kid just happened to be there and she was like, yeah. And it appears, because Taylor's not a true trash talker. I've coached a few. We will not name names on that. But she, I think it was just her exuberance. And so they probably had to call it, but I have to watch it, see it again. So I'll give the Stripes the benefit of the doubt. But I think the way we handled it, it's like, I brought her over, I said, hey, I love your emotion. I said, you can't do it in her face. And I moved on. Because if you take that, you go like, what are you doing? How could you do that? You know the rule. The tone is like, you don't want to lose what makes her that passionate. But I do think it kind of helped fire everybody up a little bit, which made it fun.
It had been kind of a slow start for Kylie, but comes out and has a big second half. I know you didn't worry about her or anything like that, but how big was that for her to
I'm
get
just
in
so
on the action?
happy for them. As a mom, as just a person, a coach, like you need it for the win, but your emotional part is when you see these young people work so hard, and it isn't, they're not hitting, or just, they're getting tighter. Just to see it when it works, that's just the greatest thing. It's the greatest thing about coaching, and I think parenting too, if you're lucky to choose to be a parent, is when there's a breakthrough. So I hope, if we see that Kylie moving forward, boy, does that help our team, right? Now she doesn't have to be quite that, stellar, but man, if we can get her close to that and have a chit chat, when we get her back, she's been pretty efficient. We get Kylie being more of a threat like that, and then Taylor, McCabe, you give her that much, typically she's gonna hit it. That's gonna open us up a lot. But aside from the strategies, I'm just really thrilled because Kylie's a really, really good kid, and I'm happy I hope the happiness she's having right now. Relief.
McCabe didn't come off the floor the first half. Was that something matchup wise or what?
Yeah, a matchup, because what is so cool about McCabe, when we recruited her, she's one of the best shooters I'd ever seen, and that story's been told to death. When I was 2 courts down and I made Lisa come down, I said, you gotta see this shooter. She was playing for a team called Omaha Factory, but her shot was so lightning fast, and so we quickly elevated our recruitment of her. And so she got here, and 3-point shooter. And so she's she's just waited her turn and worked. And so I talked with her in between one of those summers. I said, look, everybody thinks you're just a shooter. I said, you got to put on some weight, and you got to lean in to what you can be. And she did, boy. And she has become one of our better defenders. She understands the switches. She understands angles. She's fit as a fiddle. And she can be a dagger, right? So that's why we got a little foul trouble, right? Strim had some foul trouble. Kylie had some foul trouble. So against a team like that, we needed a defender. Plus I needed some points. So her trajectory's been great, but that's a kid who has totally always listened and did and bought the time.
You guys fall behind 22-10 against a team like Fairfield with that firepower. It can feel a little unsettling just because of what they can do offensively. What did you feel like turned? It was late in the first quarter. I think you guys ended on like a 7-0 run and then tied it in the second quarter, and obviously went from there. Just what do you feel like turned in that late first quarter?
Yeah, I just felt like the shots we had missed were not going to continue to be missed. And I felt like we had the counter on the inside. And I do feel like our defense is pretty good. And you had to ride the waves. I watched film. Like I watched their South Florida game, and they came out and scored 25 points in the first quarter. The second quarter, I mean, they won the game, but the law of averages. Like if they were gonna hit just like the first and the fourth quarter, man, I mean, hats off, right? But I just felt like eventually they were gonna cool down, and we were gonna be able to get some of that inside action. And we're still. We're not as efficient offensively as I think we can be or will be. But, I mean, I'm telling you guys, we're taking out Chit-Chat, who makes you pretty efficient. So we're getting a really good experience for our players that, have to be in these pressure situations, handling a little bit of pressure, having to make these decisions. So I think that offense is really going to continue to get more efficient with time. And that's what I think I just kind of held. Sometimes as a coach, you're like, you want to like, what the heck are we doing, blah, blah, blah. But I just think staying steady. And then we went a little bit more switching. Sometimes against three-point shooters, it's nice to stay with them. Because if you think you're switching and you both mess that up and you both take the kid that cut to the basket, they're wide open. That happened in the fourth quarter, but it was with Ava mostly. And Ava isn't a guard. So then when we went to the switching, I think that changed it a little bit. So we were kind of trying to do some different things. So I'm just confident in our defense and the fact that I thought, man, they can really shoot 70% from three the whole game,